His organization is enormously wealthy, connected, and sophisticated. His casinos launder billions every year, providing a safe haven for prostitution, the drug trade, gambling, scam centers, and wildlife trafficking. As a result, he enjoys a life of overflowing luxury. He made so much money that he spent $10 billion to open up King's Roman Casino in 2007. He is a crime boss who commands countries. Yet, why have you never heard of him? This is the story of Zhao Wei. Zhao Wei was born on the 16th of September 1952 in Heilongjiang, a province in northeast China. Growing up in communist China as one of 9 kids, his life was tough, and things got even tougher when he lost his dad to cancer at the age of 5. He couldn't afford schooling, so he taught himself traditional Chinese medicine. Zhao likely used his self-taught knowledge in Chinese traditional medicine to provide affordable healthcare services to his community, earning him both income and respect. Zhao's first dive into business came when a friend introduced him to the timber trade. He was involved in various aspects of the business, including sourcing timber, negotiating deals, and managing logistics. Then, his world got a lot bigger. After Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms launched in December 1978, China experienced unprecedented economic boom, transforming its market and jump-starting a rapid industrial growth. Within this transformative era, the timber industry flourished as demand soared, both domestically and on a global scale. Zhao navigated through capitalism with ease, sourcing deal negotiations and logistics. As the 1990s unfolded and China opened up to the global market, Zhao recognized an opportunity in the casino industry of Macau. Already successful and powerful, at 38, he made a bold move, leaving behind the timber industry to explore the gambling world of Macau, posed to outshine even Las Vegas. Macau was a place where you could get anything. If you had the right ambition, you could be anyone. Upon arrival, Zhao immersed himself in the casino industry from the ground up, learning the operational and financial intricacies that would be crucial for his success. This period served as a practical education in managing a casino and the importance of building powerful relationships. It is here that he likely met titans like Stanley Ho, the legendary king of gambling, and Patsy Ho Chu King, positioning him within the inner circle of power that dictated the future of Asia's gambling industry. At some point during his years in Macau, Zhao Wei met Su Guoqin, who would not only become his wife, but also a formidable partner in his empire. Known as Zhao Su and Madame Su, she has proven to be far more than a supportive spouse. She's a key figure in their joint operations. Then, a key moment in history took place. In 1999, Macau was handed over from Portuguese control to Chinese control, leading to a significant shift in the region's regulatory landscape and gambling policies. This transition paved the way for tighter regulation and increased scrutiny on the casino industry. It was a dangerous and uncertain time for prominent figures within the industry. The Chinese Communist Party now had authority over Macau and began to clean it up. This is when Zhao met Sai Lun, a figure with considerable influence from Mong, a region known for its lawlessness. In Sai Lun, Zhao found a haven where regulations were non-existent and the potential for growth was immense, and he'd have the backing of an army. They shared a vision for the gambling industry's potential in Southeast Asia, and together, they combined Zhao's entrepreneurial drive with Sai Lun's strategic connections, aiming not only to open another casino, but to establish a stronghold in Southeast Asia. Zhao Wei moved to Mong in 2001 at the age of 49. This marked a significant pivot in his career and the region's economic landscape. Mong is an autonomous region within Burma. It has a predominantly Chinese ethnicity and has its own government and military. Partnering with Cai Lun of the National Democratic Alliance Army, Zhao established his first casino franchise, Landun Entertainment. Zhao's business wasn't just about casinos. It mixed legitimate operations with underworld dealings. The drug and wildlife trafficking networks intertwined with his operation, providing a cover of legitimacy. Zhao, a strong believer in Chinese medicine, used his connections to facilitate the trade, causing deforestation and extinction. Zhao's success in Mong can be credited to one thing: guanxi. Corrupt officials, whether within the CCP, other governments, or corporate circles, frequented his casinos to gamble away or launder stolen funds. These officials, motivated by personal gain, turned a blind eye to, or even participated in, illegal activities. Zhao's domestic relationships with local militas, including financial interactions with its leaders, such as Heilongjiang of the National Democratic Alliance Army, kept him safe. These alliances were instrumental, with funding purportedly sourced from the lucrative drug trade, embedding Zhao's operation within a complex web of geopolitics and organized crime. Zhao had the perfect empire. Then, prohibition by the Chinese government in 2005, aimed at curtailing the outflow of capital and addressing the misuse of state resources. China closed the border. This posed a substantial challenge on Zhao's casino-driven economy and brought quite a bit of heat. But this also led to a diversification strategy, an expansion, an opportunity, one which entrenched his influence further in the Shan state and beyond. In 2005, at the age of 58, Zhao had his sights set on northern Laos. Charmed by the rustic and isolated nature of the Golden Triangle, he told media outlets it was reminiscent of his hometown before China's economic boom. This period marked a significant transition for Zhao Wei, adapting and expanding his empire in the wake of challenges posed by the Chinese Communist Party on illegal gambling activities. The Mekong River, a natural border between Laos and Myanmar's Shan state, is notorious for its lawlessness and illicit activities that thrive there, including some of the world's top synthetic drug traffickers. Zhao had interest in a specific zone, positioned along the Mekong River and intersecting Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos, as well as being extremely easily accessible to China. Zhao had a plan. He began work negotiating a 99-year lease on the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone. But Zhao's negotiations would have extended beyond Laos. His history of being in hot water with the Chinese government meant that securing this deal would also need to address and appease Chinese concerns. By positioning the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone as a strategic asset for China, Zhao offered something invaluable to Chinese officials: a foothold in a geopolitically significant region right at China's doorstep. This move would not only have appealed to Chinese desire for regional influence, but also provided Zhao with a layer of protection by aligning his empire's expansion with China's strategic interests. In securing this deal, Zhao would have had to draw up all his resources and connections, likely involving behind-the-scenes negotiating with both Lao officials and influential figures within China. The deal's success hinged on Zhao's ability to present it as a win-win situation for all parties involved: economic growth and development for Laos, strategic regional influence for China, and an expansion of his own business empire. According to the Lao government, a special economic zone, SEZ, is an area in a country that is subject to unique economic regulations that differ from other areas in the same country. The SEZs are established with the goal of attracting foreign investors and boosting economic growth. In the case of the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone, it has been developed into a new urban center and tourism hub, incorporating various investments in economic infrastructure, agriculture, livestock, and more, reflecting a strategy integration into the greater Mekong subregion and facilitating access to larger consumer and labor markets. The decree allowing the zone to manage its own affairs was a significant move that gave Zhao Wei almost sovereign control of the area, converting it into a personal playground where the Lao government has an equity stake. This autonomy extends to urban planning, municipal budgets, and, in some instances, security, leading to concerns from international observers about the extent of control ceded to Zhao and the potential for illicit activities. Zhao became the king of the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone, and it was now quickly growing. Zhao's firm, the Hong Kong-based King's Roman, was in charge of 100 square kilometers in the northwest of Laos. Details about the financial aspects of the lease, such as the specific amount paid by Zhao Wei to the Lao government, are not publicly disclosed, leaving room for speculation about the terms of the agreement. But it has been said that Zhao committed to a $10 billion investment. In 2007, ground broke, and Zhao established the King's Roman Casino in the Golden Triangle. This strategic move was aimed at transforming a 3,000-acre area into a new urban center and tourism hub, capitalizing on the location's proximity to Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and China, which is especially significant due to gambling being illegal in China and Thailand. The zone was designated to include a wide range of facilities and attractions, including the King's Roman Casino, hotel, shops, restaurants, and a hospital, along with residential apartment blocks. Officially, the Golden Triangle Economic Zone project calls for a wide range of investment opportunities in areas like agriculture, trade, tourism, real estate, and financial services, aiming to attract both domestic and international investors interested in capitalizing on the region's strategic location and economic potential. Unofficially, this wasn't just any project. It was the cornerstone of Zhao's empire, a bold statement of his ambition. Zhao envisioned the casino as more of just a gambling hub. It was to be a beacon of prosperity, drawing visitors from across Asia and beyond, leveraging the zone's unique legal status to allow lawlessness. During the next decade, the King's Roman Casino thrived, but Zhao Wei's broader operations in the Shan State and the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone faced increasing scrutiny. The allegations of money laundering, narcotics trafficking, wildlife trafficking, and human rights abuses cast a long shadow over Zhao's empire. These claims were not just local gossip, but caught the attention of international law enforcement agencies and NGOs, who pointed to a worrying blend of legitimate businesses with illicit undertakings. But Zhao denied any wrongdoing and stated his business operations were legitimate. But the Americans got involved. In 2018, the U.S. Treasury Department took a significant step by imposing sanctions on Zhao Wei and his business network. These sanctions aimed to freeze any U.S. assets controlled by Zhao and prohibited Americans from doing business with his operations. The U.S. government's actions underscored the seriousness of the allegations against Zhao and his entities, highlighting concerns over human rights abuses and the exploitation of the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone for narcotics trafficking and other criminal activities. Despite these sanctions, Zhao has continued to deny any wrongdoing, portraying his casino and other businesses as legitimate enterprises contributing to the local economy and regional tourism. He argues that his investments have brought development and job opportunities to previously underdeveloped areas, improving infrastructure and living standards for local communities. The narrative surrounding the socioeconomic impact of Zhao Wei's empire is complex and multifaceted. On one hand, there's evidence that the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone has indeed spurred economic activity in an area that was once marginalized. Infrastructure improvements, such as roads, a hospital, and residential buildings, have undeniably benefited some local residents. On the other hand, the rapid development has come with significant environmental and social costs. Deforestation, pollution, and wildlife trafficking remain critical concerns. Moreover, the influx of wealth and foreigners has led to increased prices and living costs, which some local residents argue have made their traditional way of life unsustainable. The region's strategic location, coupled with Zhao's near autonomous control, continues to pose a challenge to the regional stability and law enforcement efforts. The allegations of criminal activities within the zone have complicated relationships between Laos, China, and neighboring countries, raising questions about sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the effectiveness of international sanctions. Su Guiqin, also known as Zhao Su and Madame Su, isn't just the wife of Zhao Wei. She's a key player in his empire. At 69 and living in Hong Kong, she's more than just a silent partner. The US Treasury has called her out for helping run the show, especially when it comes to moving money for their criminal activities. As a director of King's Roman International, Su Guiqin's job isn't just for show. She's deeply involved in the financial aspects of their operation, showing she's got the know-how and commitment to keep their empire thriving, even when they're under the global spotlight for all the wrong reasons. What Su Guiqin and her husband are into isn't small time. Human trafficking, drug smuggling, and illegal wildlife trade. These are big, dangerous businesses that make a lot of money, but have put them in hot water with governments and law enforcement agencies worldwide. The international community hasn't ignored Su's role in these dealings. The sanctions from the US Treasury aim to hit them where it hurts, their wallets, by freezing assets and banning business with American companies. This move has thrown a spotlight on her critical role in keeping their criminal network afloat. Su's story isn't just a footnote in her husband's saga. It's a critical piece of the puzzle. She's been instrumental in building and maintaining an empire that spans the murky worlds of gambling, drugs, and more. Her tale is a clear example of the significant, yet often overlooked roles individuals play in the operations of criminal syndicates. Ban Mong Port, situated on the isolated reaches of the Mekong River, has drawn Chinese investment as part of Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative. The port's strategic location has made it a target for organized crime, particularly for smuggling drugs and precursor chemicals in and out of the Golden Triangle. Although Zhao Wei's exact involvement in the port remains unclear, his presence at its groundbreaking ceremony alongside Lao officials has raised suspicions among law enforcement and governmental authorities from neighboring countries. Zhao Wei lives a life of extreme luxury, thanks to all his vast criminal wealth. His homes are like huge, fancy castles, filled with amazing art and luxurious furniture. He has heavy security and lots of staff to take care of everything he needs. He has personal chefs, drivers, and bodyguards to make sure he's always comfortable and safe. Zhao travels in style, using private aircraft and traveling with a large entourage. He spends his time with other wealthy and powerful people, including politicians, business leaders, and some of the most powerful crime leaders in the world. He enjoys eating out at fancy restaurants, tasting some of the best foods and wines money can buy. Even with all this luxury, Zhao tries to look good in public. He goes to high-end parties and charity events, portraying the image of a successful businessman. But, away from the public eye, he's speculated to be the head of a criminal operation that keeps him rich and powerful. Imagine Zhao's business as a big, busy market, but instead of selling fruits and vegetables, he's dealing in things that aren't exactly legal. Here's the down-to-earth way he's built his empire. Zhao picks places for his casinos where the rules aren't too strict or where he can make friends with the people in charge. These spots are perfect for doing things under the table without getting caught. Zhao isn't about just making money. He's also into making friends. He connects with politicians who can cover for him if trouble comes knocking, along with crime lords who bring trouble. This network helps keep him safe and makes his operation run smoothly. Zhao's casinos are like magic shows for money. People come in with cash that's not clean because it comes from crime. They can't spend this money in legitimate ways, so they play games at the casino. But the real purpose is making their dirty money look clean so nobody knows where it came from. With all the money coming in, Zhao makes sure to keep some powerful people happy. He uses his wealth to get favors and protection. Zhao is always looking for new ways to make more money and keep his empire safe. He's smart, always changing his game plan to stay ahead of anyone trying to catch him. Whether it's finding new places to expand or new ways to keep his money moving, he's always one step ahead. Zhao Wei's story highlights how someone can build a massive criminal empire with strategic relationships. Although he appears as just a successful businessman, much of his wealth is actually tied to illegal activities, like selling drugs and running illegal operations. But removing someone like Zhao isn't easy because he's well-connected and has influence in high places. If Zhao were ever caught or couldn't lead his empire, it wouldn't go away. Criminal groups like his usually have a clear line of succession. However, exactly who would take over and how they would manage the empire is unclear. China's position on Zhao is complicated. While the country is cracking down on illegal activities and corruption, dealing with Zhao is more complex. China must weigh the diplomatic implications and how pursuing Zhao might affect its relationship with other countries and its own interests. That was the story of Zhao Wei. If you enjoyed the video, please like and stick around.